All right, we're definitely live. Awesome, awesome. So we're here, episode 3 of the new show, The Vault. I am joined today by a very special guest, someone very dear to my heart, Diogo, my leader in chief, my sir boss, or what do you make me call you? I forget.
Excellence
Master.
is excellence. The prince
Awesome.
of the prince
So what's
of
up, dude?
crypto Twitter.
So what's up, man? This is going to be really interesting. I get to talk to you every day, so it's going to be different now that all the cards are in my hand. I get to pull the strings this time
Yeah, I'm
around.
pretty. I'm very looking forward to it. Honestly, my highlight of the my high.
It's awesome. So, just a little bit of history for everyone. Diogo joined the team. I think was it late
Hmm.
May that you
Yeah,
joined the
late May
team?
12th.
Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, extremely late May. I have to say that you were like kind of thrown into the fire because you had just joined the team. We had our retreat as a team in Hong Kong, and you were having to lead some meetings and do all this stuff like not even 2 weeks in. Like it was kind of crazy. Yeah, that was pretty crazy that you were able to handle all that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was pretty cool. I want people to know just like how capable you are. You're definitely a very capable person. So maybe tell us about that experience real quick. I want to just jump into that, and then we can talk about your history before
Yeah, for
joining
sure.
Babylon.
Right off the bat, I think going into Hong Kong was a pretty good experience. From all of my past roles, I never had the experience of going into an offsite, and it was something that I was like, oh damn, like I wish I always saw these companies and these teams going into offsites in these pretty cool places. And all of a sudden, like Fisher told me, yeah, like you really should come to Hong Kong, be with the team, know your team as well. I was like, like it's amazing because just kind of like another story is that like I went to Hong Kong before I joined Babylon. I went to Hong Kong actually with my mom to organize a dinner with some liquid funds at the time, and I got like so sick. It was like I don't think I was ever that bad in my life, and it was like pretty rough. And I was like, damn, first time my mom is traveling abroad to give her this experience. I'm like stuck in bed for like the full week.
Yeah,
I was like super bad. I was like, damn, like this is a nice kind of like way to fully discover Hong Kong. It was like I mean, I yeah, I'm even like speechless. It was such a nice experience, like to meet,
sure that was there.
and like to meet the team as well, to be with all of you guys there. I think, well, yeah, was definitely one of my favorite trips I did this year for sure. So that's kind of like the story, and I was like kind of. I mean, yeah, was to be completely fair, was a lot of pressure, especially coming into a protocol that, $7 billion in TVL. It's, the biggest when it comes to BTC-Fi overall and self-custodial. When it comes to Bitcoin, man, it's such a well-appraised team and protocol that I was like, damn, I'm definitely feeling the pressure. And even spoke with my fiance, like, I'm meeting all of these guys for the first time and meeting all the big bosses in Hong Kong was definitely a lot of pressure. And all of those kind of like so like for those listening in, we had these meetings with everyone and with the presentations for a guy that I wasn't known in the organization to be doing presentations, like without the kind of like credibility you get by like kind of being in a company for a few months. I was like, I hope I'm doing my best and to get someone to trust the work that I want to do for Babylon. So yeah.
No, yeah, yeah. You definitely had that. I think it was a great experience. Like as awesome it is as to work remotely, it is really nice those moments that we get to see each other, and grow the relationships closer. Because it's hard to work alongside one another without liking each other or just getting to know each other better. So I think these little moments are really
Yeah, no, for sure.
important.
Yeah, like before Hong Kong, I was like, nah, not gonna like Eric. Nah, nah, nah. But yeah, but I did.
I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, I have that effect on people. So, you made me think a little bit about, you're talking about you took your mom on that trip to Hong Kong. I got to do that for the first time last year with my dad. My parents are from El Salvador, so they're very pro crypto, but very at the base level. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm going on this work trip to Dubai, and I decided to take him,
All right.
and he still doesn't stop talking about it. Like he loved every moment of it. I thought he was not going to join the conference and just maybe do some other stuff. He was at the conference every day, just getting free swag and just walking around, getting to meet people. So it
Oh,
was
that's
a
pretty
really cool
cool.
experience. So it's really cool that you
Yeah.
had to do that for
And
your
now that
for your
mentioned
mom as
Dubai,
well.
I did that with my sister because like we're going to talk about it, but before Babylon, I had some marketing agencies, and my family has been in the business for 20 years. And my sister never traveled abroad as well. So I took my sister to Dubai as well, and she loved it. Like your dad, she still speaks about it to this day. And I think it just opens their kind of like their borders, their horizons in a pretty
Yeah,
good way. And she also came with me to all of the events and all of my keynotes as well. And yeah, she was just cheering me up on the crowd. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
it's awesome. I want to just do one more story about you joining Babylon. So, we kept hearing that there was going to be some like young, what's the word here that I'm thinking of? Just like a phenom
KOL,
coming in that was gonna. So I was like, who is this? And so we finally hear your name, Diogo
the
Costa.
Portuguese
And so I
goalkeeper.
do what all people do. That's right. I do what everyone does. And so I'm trying to look you up, and all I see is that you're a goalie. And I was like, sweet, we're getting, we're getting a goalie join the
Yeah,
team. So I just thought that was hilarious that, I couldn't look you up because someone else that's famous has your name
yeah.
as well.
Like if you go on Google and search my name, there's two things that are going to show up. It's the goalkeeper and my watch page, and the work that I did before joining crypto. So yeah, it was I'm still to this day unsure if that was the proper way to talk about who's joining the company. I don't think a lot of people saw that. Oh, I'm so excited. I think everyone was like, oh, like what? Like KOL joining in. Like I don't think the word
Yeah.
KOL has a lot of credibility in this space. I mean, I think people are right when it comes to that most times. But yeah, it was a kind of like a fun story.
Yeah, we can definitely now start getting more into that because you mentioned kind of a little bit of things you did before crypto. So let's start with your journey. You obviously, didn't start off as a KOL. So tell us about just your journey getting interested in crypto and then deciding what to do
Oh
in the
my,
space.
it's such a long story, but I'll try to keep it short.
This is why we have this show.
All right, all
That's
right,
what
all
the
right.
show's for, man.
Yeah,
Great.
so the whole story, just to give you a bit of context, I was finishing my bachelor's in marketing in a university here in Lisbon. I'm based in Portugal, Lisbon, which is kind of like now a big crypto hub, especially for DeFi founders. And at the time, I was both studying and I was due to my work on Instagram, I always posted about watches, kind of like early influenced by my dad and my mom giving me watches while when I was a kid, and the watches that I took to prom and all that. And I developed this taste for high-end watches, collecting, kind of posting about them on Instagram, and I quickly grew my Instagram page to the biggest one in Portugal for collecting, and then an American brand focus on pre-owned Rolex and Patek Philippe and also vintage watches. They reached out to me saying that they wanted me to develop their stores in Portugal, and we're gonna kind of like this is gonna lead to how I jumped into crypto. But on the meanwhile, actually, I was always working in the big pharma industry with brands like AstraZeneca while I was studying, Pfizer, Moderna, especially on the marketing and design side for Portugal. Kind of like I had the experience when it comes to marketing, both on the university side and on my family side as well, because this was like an agency that my family still has. And I was one of
Okay.
the people leading a few departments there. So like a few months later, uh, actually like more than 12 months later, I was developing one of the stores in Cascais, which is like this coastside city where all of these yachts and supercars are and all that. So it was a pretty good location for the first store. I was at the store and I mean, I was just doing my regular chores, just looking the watches, buying watches, selling watches, going, with specific marketing activations for the watch brands we worked with. Uh, a friend of mine, um, kind of like, well, now a friend of mine, he entered the store. He was interested. He was from like close by. He was from the city, and he started talking about, like, oh, are you interested in Bitcoin? Did you see the price of Bitcoin this week? And at the time, I was also already kind of like pretty down the rabbit hole when it comes to traditional finance, especially with stocks and ETFs. A friend of mine was ex Deutsche Bank, and it got me involved as well. So I was like, all right, I've been looking at it, but not really heavily. I haven't really read anything about blockchain or anything, and that got me interested. Like seeing this guy that at the time, I didn't have really that much money to buy watches, and seeing this guy that came in as a potential client, potentially, you know, I mean, he was wearing good watches, and seeing this guy talk about Bitcoin, I connected the dots. I mean, okay, perhaps it could be interesting for me to look into blockchain because he also worked in blockchain. So, I mean, one thing that I always said in my life is that when I get excited and focused on a specific topic and I have the feeling that I don't know enough, it becomes really easy for me to kind of digest and learn about it. So I feel like in the first like 6 months, I really went down the rabbit hole when it comes to DeFi. I specifically did a bunch of courses, looked into YouTube, looked into Coursera, like as much courses as possible I could take in
Wow.
cryptography, those like executive courses by MIT as well. Did as much as possible. And then it was like, look, my friend, this same friend was like, oh, once you want to jump into crypto, I might be able to help as this company is looking for a community manager. And at the time, look, even if you're like an executive or someone that's developing brands in Portugal, you're not going to get paid that much, right? You're going to get paid $1,000, 1,200, sometimes two 2,000, pre-tax. And then I remember that the first kind of like contract that I got in, I started at Anchor, an RPC provider and liquid staking provider that started alongside Lido in 2020. It was like 2.5K dollars, and I was like, oh, I was like, holy damn. I was like, holy damn, there's no way, there's no way. Like I was like doing university I was like, so what I was doing, I was like working during the day, and then at 9, I went to university 9 p.m. and then I usually arrived at 1 a.m. Um, back at home. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get 2.5K being a community manager. And it was insane, like it's pretty kind of emotional story that like at that time all of my grandparents died that year. And I was going into their house for the first time, and I was kind of like the only good news that I got. I still remember like sitting on the empty living room and
Yeah.
reading that content. Was like, oh, like even my family, they were like, "Are you sure? Are you sure that's not a scam?" Like that's so much money. Like for all my
Yeah.
family, that's still like a lot of money. And that's how
Yeah.
I went into to the business. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the entry point. But yeah, I did a lot of stuff before. If you want me to dive deeper into that,
Okay, that's so crazy. I didn't know, obviously, that your grandparents had passed away. So it was already a really emotional, hard
yeah,
time for you. And so it's nice to just have that little bit of good news, to kind of lift up your spirits, and that it was so meaningful. Like I remember you talking about finances back in Portugal and how different it is from the US, where I'm at here. So just to see that, it's really cool. I'm really happy you get to experience some type of joy in those dark moments. And really cool that your first crypto job was CM because that was my first crypto job. I'm also fairly new to the space, and so really cool that we can share that. I'm sure that the roles look completely like I've talked to so many different CMs, and the roles look so different, from
yeah,
company to
for
company.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
So, but that's awesome. Yeah. Well, how did you become a KOL? That's kind of what I think is interesting because you started off as a CM. So let's talk about that. When did that happen? How far deep into your crypto years did you finally build like this following that you have?
Yeah. So the way it started, a friend of mine, I mean, he had like what? He had like 500 followers on Twitter.
Always a
Always a
friend,
friend of
huh?
mine. Always a friend of mine. Like, it's all about your circle. Nothing that heavily impacts your life. And, like, I have these experiences from luxury, I have these experiences from big pharma, and now in crypto. Yeah, it was a friend of mine, actually a colleague as well. I remember going to have dinner with him, and I was like, oh. You know what? Like I have these 500 followers, and these protocols just reached out, and they want to pay me like $200 to make this tweet. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, I was like thinking to myself, like last time I checked this profile, he had like 500 followers. Like what's the and like being at the on a marketing role, I was like, I would never do that. I would never pay you $200 for your 500 followers, unless those 500 followers are like
Yeah,
ultra high net worth individuals. For example, might be a case. And I was like, all right, like this is interesting. So you're telling me that if I start writing about things that I like, eventually verticals will be interested in tapping into my user base, and even getting an extra revenue source out of that. I was like, okay, well, I'll start. That's kind of like how it started, like 2.5 years ago. I started writing. I started connecting with protocols, a lot of being like the reply guy all the time, and all of these kind of like combining with having an actual role in crypto and on the either being a community manager and manager, etc. And like going into it was pretty fun going into all of the graphics, producing all of the visuals, like kind of providing my opinion, like understand that by being a reply guy, people go back into my post and also share their support. And we ended up having a lot of discussions going into Telegram. Built a lot of friends. I started participating in keynotes. So yeah, it was like it still is a very interesting journey. I still give a lot of value. Completely changed my life, and it's one of the reasons why every time I speak with a young Portuguese person, I always like try to motivate them. Look, I know that life is tough. I know that it's not the only country that where life is tough, but give it a chance. Give crypto a chance. Not only on the KOL side, but also on jumping into a role. I don't know, BD. You can go into being a CM as well. Just try. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity if you're motivated, and I always try to give an extra push to those who are Portuguese because I know how much a difference these salaries and this industry can make into not only their lives but their families' lives. So that's what I've been doing.
I noticed that really early on. I had only started to see you. I hadn't seen you in real life yet. I saw you on LinkedIn after we found out exactly who you were, and I noticed that a lot of people love where they're from, but for you, you're really proud of it. You are proud of like the different things that they're able to accomplish in the space, especially. So I know like how important that is to you. So it's really cool to hear like how you want to help even build up others who aren't
I
even
think
in the space yet, just because it is so important to you.
I think you reach a point in life where you've achieved pretty much everything, and the most important thing to me, and something that this has been been unveiling itself to me through my life, is that if you can change one person's life in your entire life, that's insane. That's like amazing. If you can have a positive impact on someone's life, just once, I think that can branch into a lot of positive things towards a specific person. I think that's so grandiose, so important. And if you can do it with more than one person, I think it's unbelievable. So I think that's what provides me with the biggest joy, the biggest value towards what I do. And then seeing, their life change. I have a bunch of colleagues and friends that I managed to help, and seeing them develop themselves, going into all of these bigger roles in DeFi, actually restaking and liquid staking, it's insane. So yeah, that gives me a lot of pleasure in life.
So speaking about pleasures in life, let's pretend crypto isn't around anymore. What are some things you like to do? Like where would you see yourself if you weren't in the space?
Oh my, there's a lot of things. Kind of like a curious fact is that I love aviation. I do the real life simulation and simulator that the regular pilots do for the Airbus. Usually, I do pilot and fly the Airbus 320. That's something that I love. It gives me a lot of joy. A curious fact is that I love marine biology. That's something that I would see myself doing, something that I wanted to do before going into marketing. I don't know, like I would love to be a general practitioner as well. I would just, yeah, just like my family is from, I mean, they're like doctors and all that. So I have a huge influence on that. I also have a huge influence, although that's not something I would see myself doing, something that I kind of pulls me towards that because my family is from the military as well, especially both in the US and in Portugal. So I always had these big influence, especially from my late grandfather, to go into the Navy, something that one day I would love to do into the officers school. And yeah, like actually, it's funny because like I wouldn't like to go back into big pharma, for example, on the marketing side. I wouldn't like to do that. I wouldn't like to go back into luxury. I think it's super toxic. I think it's all about flexing and which brands are you wearing and all that. And sometimes people forget it's about your values and your education rather than the fancy watch that you're wearing or the fancy shoes that you're wearing. I think that's something that old money really pays attention to and not nouveau riche. So I wouldn't see myself going back into that. I love the part of collecting watches, and one thing that I've applied into the stores that I've built is that I don't really care if you have a Swatch or a Tissot or an Amiga, or if you have a Richard Mille that is worth 1 million. I don't really care about that. If you're like watches, sure, you're gonna get my attention. I'm gonna, prepare you a Negroni, a Cuban cigar. So it's about, these values, taking care of the other, being concerned about the other without taking too much attention, paying too much attention to what the other one is using as a kind of yeah. I don't think that's doesn't equal values or what the person is. So yeah, you have both sides. What I wouldn't do and what I would like to.
So I guess I'm gonna have to answer this one a little bit for you. I was hoping that you were gonna mention that you like to draw. So for those out there,
Yeah.
Diogo is incredibly talented. He's incredibly talented at drawing. In fact, Diogo, I've sent you a link. I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. I sent you a link. We're gonna do the space. I'm gonna show the screen, and we're gonna let people see how good you are at drawing. We
For
joked
me,
about
of
doing
course.
this. No, I sent you the link on Slack for Excalibur, that how
Okay.
we did it
Well,
last
okay.
time.
Can I pick whatever I want to
Yeah,
draw?
you can draw whatever. Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. You can pick
Oh,
whatever you want to draw. So we so the other day, me and Diego were just talking, and we joked about. Oh, it was actually my idea. I'm like, we should just do a stream where you're drawing and people are just watching because it's really, really amazing. So, and you just remember that he's doing this with a mouse.
yeah.
It's not like he doesn't have like an Apple
An
Pencil.
ergonomic mouse. Even weirder.
That looks really cool.
Comes out of Star Wars. Okay,
Yeah.
I think really depends on. Yeah, really
Are you on
depends.
it?
Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I'll share the screen here
All
in a
right, can you
second.
see it? It really depends on the amount
So
of detail you want. I think your opacity, and let's switch to the stroke white. So let me do some testing. Wait,
let me see here.
scroll back to content down below.
There we go. I got it.
All right, there
Yep.
you go. Okay.
There we go.
Damn. You're gonna literally putting me on the spot. Okay. So
That's
what
right.
I did a lot of design classes. I did art history as well. I did art philosophy as well. And we used to draw a lot. Specifically, what I always loved since a young kid is to draw houses. Dude, I don't actually think I draw that well.
You Yeah, we'll let the audience be the judge. We'll let the audience be the judge.
Okay. Damn, this is a lot of pressure.
I know. We'll just keep
We
talking.
keep
We'll keep
talking,
talking.
damn.
So, um, yeah, you're gonna be talking about the other stuff while you're drawing, dude.
The thing is, I go into hyper focus mode.
That's true. You do that. So, just to those that are listening, there was a funny story about marine biology. We found out in the Hong Kong trip that Diego was really into marine biology. There was a moment on the trip where we went as a team to just ride a boat around the bay, and Diego just kind of went missing, and we just found him just staring out into the just trying to get a glimpse of the fishes. And so that was a little inside joke that he just loves fishes, which was when he told us about the marine biology. So that was a really fun moment.
Bro, you put me such in a bad spot here that I feel like I'm drawing bad as hell, to be fair.
Like it's gonna be so much better than anything I could do. Maybe I should draw something on the side so we can compare
Yeah, it
afterwards.
really depends on the stroke wise. I know how detailed it is, to be fair, but we're gonna see.
Of course, of course.
So what I'm aiming to draw here is
Yeah, what's your vision right
overall the
now?
terrace. So this is the part where you drive the car in. Ideally,
Okay, yeah.
ideally we would have a chimney here. This is so bad. What?
It already looks. I can actually tell what it is. So to me, it looks amazing already.
Looks amazing already.
There we go.
I'm not really sure. So what we can do first, we need to focus on the first layers, which is, if for example, if I would draw a window here right now, then I would need to draw the bush in front, so it would look bad, right? Because you would still be able to see the window down below, and you cannot see through a bush. So, and this is the same thing. You can kind of use the same logic with colors. And what you want to do as well is give a bit of depth to the draw, which could be like something like this. I'm shaking. I cannot see who's looking into the live stream, but I can already feel them judge me.
No, it's all good, dude. It's all good. What I did forget is to play some music for you so it could be more relaxing.
It was relaxing the last time we did it.
Yeah, because we were just talking about, what the plans are for posting for the week and stuff. So it was good. It was easy.
So my idea is to get some trees here. We need some bushes here as well.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally,
No, this is already really good. Like, just because it's also with a mouse, like, to me, that's insane that you can even draw anything with
so
it.
the idea is
So
to
I think we're showcasing your skills
give a
good.
bit of perspective, right, by the shape of the house and etc. What the freaking hell is this door? But yeah,
I like it.
was it really depends on the way you want to design as well. Or you could also do
Some drapes there.
yeah, but yeah, I would need something like this. So it's a top window.
Do you ever, even though you're good at drawing, do you ever like actually draw? Like, do you ever make time to draw?
Barely,
Do you ever
barely.
think
My
about it?
family and my fiance usually request it quite a lot, especially for architecture and all that. It really kind of like
Yeah.
yeah, it really distresses me a lot. But I should pay a bit of more attention to it, to be fair. I used to draw a lot of cars as well, horses.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that you like doing houses because last time, whenever you weren't asked, we were just testing this out for the whiteboard session. You just started to draw a house. So this one's a lot more in detail. So yeah, definitely
I mean, the thing is,
pretty cool.
when it comes to drawing, for example, if I do this, what you can do? See, the white is too thick here. How can I even reduce it? But yeah, what you would be able to do would be to adjust the white so you feel like you have tiles here. And then what we can so we're missing a door here.
Someone in the chat said bullish. Diogo wants a new house.
That's true. That's the house I want,
It's
guys.
hilarious.
And what we can do now to even create more feeling of depth is
Is that how Portugal looks? What is the landscape in
like
Portugal?
this. Lisbon is called the city of the seven hills. So it's yeah.
Really?
So yeah, I'm just having an idea because if I wanted to really get this into perspective, what I would do, what I should have done this before, what I would do here would be to create the tree in front, right? Like this. So it would make you feel like the house is in the back, right? It's down the back of the overall perspective.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but
See, you're talking about things that I wouldn't even think of. So I can definitely see your passion and your eye for it, and just your skill. Like this, you pulled through. I put you in a tough spot, and you
well, yeah,
delivered.
that's yeah. I mean, we could add a bit more detail, even like different constructions. But yeah, I think it. I think.
Yeah, it looks good. Agreed. Agreed.
Oh my. Okay,
All
it's done.
right.
I passed the
All right.
test.
I think you passed the test, dude. I think. Let's see if anyone. Let's see more bacalhau
But bacalhau,
though. Bullish on Diogo. Yeah. Do you know, is that a
it's
Portuguese for anything? I don't know.
it's cod.
That's hilarious.
Hang on, hang on.
I guess, since you are a lover of fish,
It feels like more fish from.
dude, this is crazy. You're doing this with a mouse. I'm still like shocked by that. I remember trying to draw with. I'm going to show my age with like Microsoft Paint. I'm trying to use the mouse, and it was not pretty at all. I'm going to move over the screen a little bit so we can see the bacalhau better. Bacalhau is Spanish for a type of fish. You were right. I didn't think it'd be the same in Portuguese. Bacalhau.
The amount of detail I'm putting into this is crazy.
These guys are just asking for a bunch of random stuff now. Now they want a Lambo. I'm not going to make you do that, though.
This is like a drawing session or what? Like, holy
Yeah. This is like a request.
pay me
Like a
$1
request.
right now via I don't know with USDC, and we have a deal, guys. All right.
Yeah, maybe you just found a new stream of revenue.
Uh, uh, how do you call it? The escamas, the skin of the fish.
Scales. In Spanish is escamas, and I guess in Portuguese is
Hmm.
escamas. So one thing that I've always had a passion for, I love the Portuguese language. I grew up with a lot of Brazilian friends, so just letting the people know. And so me and Diogo speak in something we call
Sí,
portañol,
pero
where
que
we're
no,
trying
no
to
muy
talk to
bien,
each other, but we no muy bien,
más o
más o
menos.
menos. Yeah, we try to talk to each other in our native languages,
I mean, they're
and
similar.
then
Italian, Portuguese,
try to
you name it.
say, yeah, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish are the three sister languages derived from Latin. Also, Diogo and I get into a lot of history
Yeah.
talks,
Oh, yeah. I love
so
history. I love
there's
history.
the
Like, I do believe that you're more into the English history, and I'm more into the
yeah,
more Ottoman, Greek, ancient Egyptian. But I do believe that you still know more than me on those.
yeah. So I already told you this, but I'll just share it. I My major was in journalism, so like like marketing, and I had to have a minor, and so I just remembered enjoying history when I was in high school, and so I just started taking history. And the teachers that I had just loved everything with the United Kingdom, with Great Britain, England, and so I just really enjoyed their passion, and so I got to pick kind of like what classes to take because I was minoring, and I just kept taking the same teachers because I liked their classes, and I just kept following what things
So,
interested them. So
do
that's
you
how I
also like
became.
philosophy, like ancient Greek philosophy?
Yeah. I do like it as well.
I mean, I think one of the idols, if you're like history, especially on the Greek side, and I mean Egyptian side, Byzantine side, the Herodotus, right? The father of history.
Yeah.
It's insane the amount of history he wrote.
It is
Although
pretty
there's
cool.
a few claims that the overall history of Babylon, the gardens of Babylon, are a bit over like exaggerated when it comes to the size and the structure. But I mean the walls of Babylon, we still have them, and they are, I believe, still one of the
One thing I wish was we could see the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the
yeah
wonders of
yeah
the
yeah
world
one of
back,
the seven
the
wonders of
ancient
the
wonders
world.
of the
Yeah.
world. Yeah. So that'd be
They
pretty
actually
cool.
claimed it might have not have been in Babylon itself, but a closed city because there are structures, similar structures to those on that specific close by city, FYI.
Gotcha. It's just like it is still. Like I tell people, I live in Dallas, Texas. I don't live in Dallas, Texas. I live in the outskirts in different cities. So it's just like them. Babylon was a big city, and
Is this
everything
enough?
was Babylon.
Am I good?
Dude, this is amazing. You're good, dude. You passed the test.
Nice. Okay, what should we talk about next?
So I want to talk about just a fun experience that we had. I'll stop sharing here. That we had in Hong Kong. So, like I mentioned earlier, we got to officially meet each other in Hong Kong, and you're just down to do whatever. And so, after we were done with meetings, you would ask the team like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And I told you I wanted to go to this temple.
Yeah, yeah. You want
Yeah,
me to tell the
yeah.
rest? I can go ahead. Like, so
If
picture
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Tell me your
So
perspective of what
picture this,
happened. Yeah,
right? You
tell us
know,
from your
it's
point of view.
like we want to have a rest. I mean, I got told that this temple is close by. You know, I was like, look, even if it was like 4 hours away, well, I would still do it, just to explore. And then I go to Eric, and Eric knows, he knows perfectly where this temple is. It's like, look, we need to go do this. I'm like, yeah, sure. Sometimes my fiance jokes with me because when she's with me, she loses every sort of direction and orientation, And I think
Maybe that's what
that's
happened to
what happened
me.
to me. I was like, look, I'm gonna let this guy completely guide me in a city that we don't know. And then all of a sudden I was like,
Yeah.
damn, we're so far away from the city. But like, look, it must be beautiful. It's like on the mountains and all that. I was like, look, I'm pretty excited. And then once we get out of the train station, once we get out of the train station, on the last step, there he goes. No way. No, no, no. No. Oh, like, no, what's going on? Perhaps it's closed. I was like, but we can still see it. It's here. I was like, perhaps I was imagining, okay, it's closed. And I was like, No, no, I think this is wrong. Like it's telling me it's back on the city where we came from. I was like literally, like it was like 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes away from where we were staying in Hong Kong, and we did this like 1 hour and a half trip to this random ass city. Nothing to be seen there.
We were so far away. We were like in the non-touristy part. We were just like in actual like
Yeah,
China, I
yeah.
felt like.
Look, that part was look. I'm of the mentality that these are the experiences. You know, these are the stories that we want to share. Like that's why we're sharing them right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is going to be recorded as an adventure. And we even went to this fish market. Once again, fishes everywhere.
Fishes. We had to. It was a cool experience. Like it was pretty awesome. Like so I'll tell my part real quick. So yeah, I had just Googled. I always stress out about making things work on trips, and so I Googled how to get there. Someone was like, "You take this train, get off at this station." I was like, "Done. That's simple enough." And they lied to me. They completely lied to me. It was really like 15 minutes from where we were staying at. It was like in the middle of the city instead of out in the outskirts. But Diogo was pretty amazing. He didn't make me feel bad because he totally should have been upset at me for wait. It was like 45 minutes away. It was
Yeah,
far,
it
dude.
was far as
We
hell.
were so
Yeah, and
far
the thing is,
away.
like, there was not much to see in that
But
city apart from the fish market.
but I actually enjoyed. We walked to a park that was like right next to the station.
Yeah,
That part
it's
was
cool.
really cool. Like we saw the old men
The
driving
boats.
the remote boats. Yeah, that was really cool. So like I actually actually enjoyed getting to see
True.
a
Oh yeah,
different
for
part
sure.
of the
Like a more
city.
traditional side of
I
it.
Yeah, yeah. That part was really cool. We also saw like an actual temple instead of like the fancy tourist one. And so that part was really cool, but that was definitely not the temple that we were trying to go see.
I was like, look, this is
It
something that
was
I'm
it
going to
was
be able to tell everyone. I'll tell my family, but like, you're not going to believe what happened to me today. I was almost going into
yeah, it was
China by train.
almost. Let's see
And the
here.
next one is Buenos Aires. Like, I'm not gonna trust you in this one. This time we're gonna.
You should. This is my language. You
Yeah,
should trust me
you're
this
actually
time.
right.
So you have some pictures that I have from the actual.
Wait,
Let me see if I can share them.
is this the Diogo's roast or what? What you gonna show?
No, this is not. No, this is good. It's not nothing bad here. Let me see. Let's see. I'll do the entire screen, or maybe we should do a window. Actually, I'll do entire screen just real quick. This is the actual
Yeah,
temple that we
yeah,
went to. So once we finally got to it, like we got to hang out over there. We went to the fish market, which I'll have to look for the fish market pictures. That was really cool actually to see the fish market. Like to me, it was actually worth it. I don't know if I would have done it on purpose like that, but we made it work. We made it work. But yeah, the actual temple was like really cool looking. Just to show what they had there. It was really
yeah. Yeah,
cool. Well, what did you think when you saw the actual
I
temple?
love it. I love the cultural architecture as well. It's something that I've been studying as well, specifically when the history of Korea with China and Japan they cross. So I've been studying that quite often the past few hundred years. So it's something that being there, it's a completely different culture, habits, ways of thinking as well. So it's for me, it's really I love overall traveling to Asia. I actually think it was worth it.
Yeah, this was my first time. Yeah. What part was worth
The whole
it?
trip,
The
yeah,
long.
even the long trip, the adventure. I was like, I actually like the.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty awesome. Cool.
What
All
else should we
right.
talk about?
I'll stop
Should we
sharing
talk
that.
about whatever?
Well, I want to like we've been talking about like your history, the trip. Maybe you can tell us about how, you've been 6 months in, or I think about maybe more than that now, working here at Babylon. Tell us about like the challenges, what you enjoy about it. How hard is it to, like kind of relay what the vision is to, because head of comms, it's not easy. You're the mouthpiece, you're the voice for what the team is building and doing. So just the challenges and what you like about it, the difficulties. We can
I
talk
think,
about that a little bit.
there's definitely um, a lot of barriers when it comes to overall crypto and the tech and the technical features of it, the technicalities of each protocol, technicalities of each product as well. And that's something that even till today, it's hard to explain. I think that's one of the biggest kind of questions and things that pretty much all of the protocols work upon is the educational factor of it and how to break. Because I feel like I mean, we can definitely explain how trust is becoming vault work, and we can definitely explain how, close taking works. But I do feel that there's a huge gap for the base knowledge when it comes to crypto, specifically towards what is cryptography, what is a blockchain, our transactions processed on different, like proof of stake, proof of work, what are liquidity pools, what's an order book. I feel like this also comes from the lack of financial literacy. Like, and I can see that pretty often in Portugal. Portugal is the country with the lowest financial literacy in Europe. And I don't think that helps
Man.
when it comes to going into these topics. I don't believe, for example, I think overall retail, I think they barely care about how the internet itself works, right? So it's hard to motivate them into reading about the features. From the marketing perspective, what I do believe is that, of course, there's publics for everything. I do believe that retail is mostly interested. Like the way you attract retail is by focusing on benefits rather than features, right? The feature is something that retail looks it up after they, all right, I like this benefit. I like the benefit that these guys are providing me to my life, to my finances, the way I will deal with money and investments, etc. And after that, all right, sure, I like the benefits. Let me understand how this works, and then that's where you kind of deep dive into the features, you deep dive into the technical side of it. So you need to look at this as a funnel, as kind of like a path that you need to build towards onboarding retail in a way that it's kind of like it's pretty easy for them to go from each step to like one step to the other step. So I think that's one of the biggest friction point when it comes to today's markets. I think more. I'm just thinking about more challenges. I think sometimes it's difficult to explain and to make people care about the problems that we're fixing. Right? I think of course, there's protocols that you work for that they're mostly targeting institutionals, they're mostly targeting, it's a B2B business on those specific cases. And on the case of Babylon, we do have that side as well. And on those specific cases, you need to be more technical. You need to really indeed have a perfect balance between the features and the benefits. Whereas for retail, it's more towards benefits rather than features, as I mentioned. So yeah, I think it really comes down to who are the audiences, what are the platforms you're using to attract those specific audiences as well. And I think it's the user journey on which you let them know the problem we're fixing and then the solutions. And then once again, the specific kind of like step by step when it comes to the benefits. But but yeah, like I mean, I'm also curious about the challenges that you see. I think we've been doing a good job when it comes to breaking down how meaningful, Christmas Bitcoin vaults are, how meaningful close staking is as well, how meaningful the whole vision about Babylon and the work that, we've been doing and, the whole team prior to me has been doing across all of these years. I mean, I've been following Babylon since the early beginning, which is pretty interesting for me not to be here. So I think we've came a long way when it comes to having a more user-friendly, retail-friendly UX, explanations, content, going through newsletters, the blogs, these Twitter spaces, connecting more to the human side of the industry, connecting more with the people, using this as a way to onboard people into our vision, into what we're working, what we're believing, who's building Babylon and why. I think that has been pretty important. I think that's how you build a community. I think that's how you get people interested. It's a long-term effort. It's about consistency in being close to those who follow you, in being close to those who use your products, feedback loops as well between, the com side and the engineering side. And I think for you to be I think one of the most essential things you need to be and use in crypto as a marketeer is being able to digest the technical side coming from the engineering side and breaking that down. And right, like I still remember one of the biggest lessons for me was like my fiance, like we were 1 year into our relationship, and I was always super excited. I'm jumping into this concentrated liquidity pool, and this is why, I'm yield farming and all that. And after 1 year, she goes like, Diogo, I'm just gonna be completely honest. I haven't understand a single thing that you said in the past 12 months. And I was like, damn, I mean, yeah, I was
That's
like,
hilarious.
so you need to help me out when it comes to breaking this down to a person. And my fiance, she's a physics engineer. Um, and I was like, you need to help me every time I'm trying to explain something. If it's too complicated, you need to tell me. So I break it down in a way so I can find these comparisons that I can use towards explaining these concepts into my follower base. So that's also a big component of what being on the marketing department is in crypto, is being able to digest and break it down for people. Like sometimes we're like kind of like I remember about when I used to work in watches, and you tend to speak about a watch in a way that's like you're not talking about a Rolex Submariner, you're talking about a Rolex 5513, for example. It's a specific reference, it's being more technical, and this technical explanation gives you, in the lowest amount of time, the highest amount of information. So you can, I know exactly, oh, sure, I know exactly what that reference is. It's the same with crypto. On the technical side, if you're technical enough, if you're an engineer, if you're a founder, the more technical you are, usually the more precise you will be, and the easier it will be for your peers to understand what you're talking about. When you're addressing retail, I think that's the complete opposite. So that's usually a logic that I tend to use. Like, how can I explain this to a 5-year old? How can I make this super easy? Because there's no
Yeah.
disadvantage of kind of like simplifying it, of breaking it down in a way that's super easy to read. There's no disadvantage. You're literally assuring that what you're writing about is going to be understood by everyone. So I think that's the go-to strategy when it comes to making content specifically. So yeah, I'm curious about your take as well. I mean, this is the discussion.
Yeah. No, I was going to tell you when you're talking about, reaching the retail, reaching kind of like the every user, one thing that I've really like that we're doing recently is having like a lot of events. We had, the Tokyo, the Seoul and Korea, Hong Kong recently. We're going to do some at Buenos Aires. So I really like being able to do like these local events and then, pushing them to local hangouts. So to me, that's also really important as well. Things I know you're not planning them, but what things do you have in mind, kind of like for Buenos Aires, for instance, when it comes to engaging community, engaging people, reaching out to people in that
I
way?
mean, I think first of all, I think Latin America is one of the biggest opportunities towards mass onboarding retail users. I think when you're looking to emerging countries, there's essential need towards blockchain and decentralized systems, particularly when it comes to you know, the monetary side. So I do believe that. And when you're going to see the learning curve and the adoption curve of these emerging countries, specifically like Africa, Latin America, you'll see that the usage of stablecoins, the usage of, overall centralized exchanges and all that. What you laughing about? You're distracting me.
Sorry. I'm laughing because of the one of the comments says, "Can Diego take his jacket off? It's 20 degrees Celsius out there, bro."
Legit, my dad sent me a message like 1 hour ago telling me this, like, Dad, is it you, Dad? Like, what's going on?
Maybe does your dad have a crypto account?
Perhaps, I don't know. Uh, but yeah, speaking about Buenos Aires, I mean, we kind of had the decision to go into small events called Bitcoin Nights, which, I created about, I mean, a few months ago. And we started with Tokyo. We went into um, Korea as well. The one we hosted in Korea was pretty good. I think it was the largest event, well, Bitcoin related event taking place in Seoul during KBW. And we're aiming towards doing the same in Buenos Aires together with a lot of our Bitcoin related partners. I think the whole goal is to have once again, the perfect balance between keynotes and roundtables and overall the networking space. I think the venue that we use in KBW and the venue we're going to use in Buenos Aires is going to be pretty sick. I think, and I'm 99.99999% sure that this is going to be the biggest Bitcoin related event. We're co-hosting it together with Bob. So definitely, going to Luma, going to the Buenos Aires calendars, and you'll find the event there. We're going to be tweeting about it today, actually, so you can sign up. And the overall idea is to get closer to the overall community in Latin America, get closer to and expand our relationships with our partners. But also, what we're thinking about doing is, first of all, you can find me there wearing a dragon suit. So if you see a dragon suit going from event to event, that's probably me or Eric. So definitely, reach out. Um, and what I want to do with the help of the legendary Eric is I want to record these short clips on the street with quizzes. And if you give me the right answers, you're going to get prizes. And also on the other side, I also wanted to do these shorts with founders, with people from the industry, just to break down what made them jump into crypto, like I want to go outside the box, and I don't want the standard like, what's your experience and where are you working? Like I want to give them specific questions, like if you had to pick between this and that, what would you pick? If you could only, hold a token for the rest of your life, if you could only have a friend, would this be this or that, So I want to have this
Yeah.
like funny question that is an expression of what like who people are and what they like instead of where they work. So that's something that I believe it will be very well received, and we'll be looking to post that either during the event or after the event.
My hobbies are taking pictures, doing film, so I'm definitely down to do that stuff. I'm really excited about it, so be able to play with my camera. So I definitely am down to do those ideas. It's
I, I,
pretty
I
cool.
grew up doing I
We're
grew up doing
definitely
I believe we spoke about this, but I grew up doing photography raids with my dad. My dad is a photographer. Like I'm currently at his place, and the full house, especially in the office, is full of people's photos, like from Thailand, Vietnam, Nepal, you name it. Uh, like I would love to also bring my camera and we can do some photography rides. Usually, like in the streets of Buenos Aires, catching some moments, some interactions between the locals.
so we're getting some really positive comments here in the chat. The best live stream I've ever seen. Flexing merch is worth the heat. Diego is the merch king indeed. So you're getting a lot of love in the comments, dude. So really, really cool. I think here's a question that I want. I want everyone to know that I'm on the G Baby team, Team G Baby, and I want to get
G
your take. What
Babylon,
team are
G
you in,
Babylon.
Diego? Are you Team G Babylon? Tell us about that. Tell us about G Babylon, G Baby.
Oh my gosh. Oh, management will be angry as hell. No, I think G Babylon is. I'm a big fan of Pendle. One thing that Pendle did very well was like they just tweet on a daily basis, Pendle. And there was a good friend of mine who started this trend for his own protocol called Level, and he wrote every single day, "Today is a good day to level up." And there's a clear association between the phrase and the protocol. That's why I prefer G Babylon.
Gotcha,
It's
gotcha.
G Babylon, like just like you do G Morpho, for example. Like it's the protocol name.
Yeah.
But I do still understand. I do also understand and comprehend that.
People have
Yeah, it's
spoken.
it's G Baby. Look, if you guys prefer G Baby, literally, because we did the poll before, I'm completely down to do G Baby. Like completely down. I mean, marketing should be also taking in consideration what the users want to see. So I'm just a spokesperson for all of you guys that are commenting and all that. So yeah.
That's actually a perfect segue. How can people get a hold of you if they want to? We know that you're getting a lot of love on X right now. So yeah, are you
Yes,
available
I'm
to the
available all
community, to the
time.
people?
Sometimes I might ghost, but it's not on purpose. It's literally because there are some of messages to be written and answered and all that. But I'm definitely, you know, always down to answer everyone. If I don't get back to you in one day, I'll get back to you in 2 days, but I'll make sure I get back to you. It's on Telegram. You can reach out to my user handle, which is my name, Diogo Web3. That's it. Send me a DM. I'll, whatever you want to chat about. Is it Babylon? Is it like, watches? I don't know, whatever.
How to become
How
a
to
good
become a good
KOL?
KOL.
How to become
Can
a
you
good
give me a
KOL?
follow,
You want
Diogo? I need a smart follower. I will do. I'll do it. But then you'll know the KOL that I like my name as a KOL, which I try to keep it as a secret.
That's awesome. Dude, this has been a lot of fun. We definitely went over the hour mark, so we're gonna have to maybe do another
Do
one
you have
soon.
any other questions?
But yeah, no, I think we can keep it here at the hour mark. I'll save the
All
questions
right,
for the
for
next
sure.
one.
Always a pleasure. And like once again, if you're ever in Portugal, in Lisbon, if you're tuning in and listening in, coffee is on me. Just to let you know if you catches in Buenos Aires, I'm completely down to, pay you guys a coffee, have a chat about Babylon, whatever you like. So just let me know.
Awesome, awesome. We have some people asking for Babylon to give them a follow, and I'll share the usernames in the chat with you and everything. So I told them asking you shall receive. So I think we should show
Yeah,
some
yeah,
love
for
to some
sure.
of the
Yeah,
people talking.
I fully agree. That's super
Awesome,
idea.
awesome. Okay, well, that's it for everyone. Diogo, always a pleasure.
Loved it.
We'll be chatting soon, I
Yeah, for
bet.
sure. Let's schedule the
Take it easy,
next
dude.
five of these because we will need those five. All right,
We
cool.
will. We will. All
See
right.
ya.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.